This is changelog 6 for Heist, the 7th in my series of videos about what's changed and what's new in the game this week. Last week I explained a little about how the procedural level generation system is structured as a hierarchy of nodes, with something like a city containing buildings and buildings containing floors and floors containing rooms and so on and so on. What I didn't mention last week was that one of the test building I've been using was totally breaking the entire world generation system. It had enough rooms in it that the world generation system just got slower and slower, and it never really finished. So my big push this week has been fixing this, some serious optimization work as well, and really improving how everything works under the hood. So the first change was going carefully through the mesh generation, which converts the world into a graphical mesh ready for rendering. I've managed to reduce the memory usage by about a half, as well as triple throughput, which means that new meshes generate 3 times more quickly, and I can generate several at the same time without completely blowing through all of my memory limits. Secondly, I modified how the system picks what nodes to work on next. The system now more reliably picks nodes close to the player and works on those next, meaning that as you move around the world it's always trying its best to keep up with you and generate the things close to you. This means that even if the procedural generation system is going slowly, it's always working on stuff most relevant to the player, so you get the maximum benefit from any work that your computer is doing. Finally, and the biggest changes this week, were the ways in which the scripts talk to the engine. So procedural scripts are what generates buildings, and they can make changes to the world by adding or subtracting shapes into the world. So for example, if you add a cube into the world and then subtract a sphere off it, you've got a cube with a chunk taken out of it. Or more usefully, if you want to generate a room, that's 8 add operations, 1 for each of the 4 walls, and 1 for each of the 4 corner pieces. So you can see here a building which is generating lots and lots of rooms in a pretty rubbish floor plan, to be honest. The walls of the rooms are green just to make it a little easier to distinguish what's what. So previously the system would pass every single one of the add operations for every single one of these rooms onto the engine, and the engine would apply these changes one by one, and for every single one it would modify the world, regenerate the mesh, and then tell the graphics and physics engines to use these new meshes. And that's a very long, very slow process involving lots of message passing between several different threads and copying lots of data around memory. It's very slow. So the new system groups up all of the commands and then issues them in batches. So now building a room looks like one big command to the engine instead of 8 small ones. And of course the meshes are only generated once. Overall this makes the entire procedural level generator somewhere between 10 to 100 times faster. The more complicated the map is, the bigger the speed up. There's still more work to do here, and I expect to reap another roughly 10 to 100 times speed up from the work to go. But for now, this is fast enough, and I'm going to move on to other, more important things. That's it for this week. If you'd like to keep up with the latest news on the project, you can follow me on Twitter as Martin D. Evans. You can follow my development blog at martindeevans.me, or of course you can subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.